This home's got the jaw-dropping ceilings, open space, and modern layout that everyone's after. But if you want to design your own property, then stick around and I'll share with you how this builder is making that happen. This is the Prescott South Classic. It is in a community on James Island being built by Toll Brothers. Now, this is a unique opportunity for a home buyer because there are about 4 or 5 of these properties that are actually finished, move-in ready, like this one, that the buyer can basically move right in, have a fairly quick close, in the time frame of June, July of 2025. But if you want to design your own interior, pick your own lot, Toll Brothers they're building homes right now, and I will show you what exactly they're allowing the buyer to do. And I was actually blown away about what they are letting the buyer do with their own property when they purchase it before anything is really done design-wise. So here's the kitchen. We'll spend a little bit of time in this main living space here. My clients, when they're moving to Charleston, a lot of people are moving here because their children live here. Now they have grandkids. And mom and dad are relocating. They want to be closer to the grandkids. Maybe they're downsizing a little bit, but some people just want space to be able to host the family over for dinners or whatever they're going to do. So this house, is 2,964 square feet. It's a fairly large house. It might not be your typical downsizing house, but when a lot of people move to Charleston, they're actually looking for a house like this so they can host dinners. They can have their family over here. The price point too is just under 1.2 million. So this isn't a first-time buyer $650,000 house. This is an established individual, an established couple's third property, fourth property, right? That they've now come to the point where they're able to afford something like this, or they sell their house out in California for a lot of money, and then come to Charleston and get a deal on a $1.2 million house. Now, this house is about 8 miles to downtown and 5 miles to Folly Beach. So you've got great access to town and the beach as well. And that's why, it's also that expensive. But also the community itself, there's a lot to offer in the community. But let's focus on the kitchen here really quickly as well. So it's about 15 by 13 in total size. The cabinets here are Sonoma linen cabinets. Countertops are just a white quartz countertops. That backsplash is a Mythology Olympus backsplash. The hardware is modern gold rectangular poles. By the way, the appliances are Gen-Air appliances. You have 2 ovens, so you've got a smaller prep oven or smaller oven if you need it, and you've got that larger oven there as well. The faucet here is a Kohler modern brass faucet, and the lighting are Parkhurst brushed bronze pendant lighting over the kitchen island there. So let's talk about the community. The community is offering residents a community boat dock. So when people move to Charleston, a lot of people, maybe you have a boat or maybe you want to get into boating. What people don't understand is that when a community has a community boat dock, you can't use it as your private dock. You're not able to just leave your boat there 24/7. You'd have to buy a house, spend $2.8 million and buy a house that has its own dock. So a community boat dock is meant to make things a little easier if you have friends and family visiting and you want to take them out on your boat. So what you'll do is you'll take your boat and put it in the water at one of the boat ramps nearby, and there is a ramp nearby, and you can drive it over the dock, and then you can tie it up and leave it there. So you can tie it up and leave it there for up to 24 hours. Is anyone really going to run a stopwatch? I don't know. But you're supposed to keep it there for a maximum of 24 hours. So if they're coming in on Saturday, go out on Friday, prepare the boat, fill it up, bring it over to the dock and tie it up, and then it's right there. So when all your guests come, all they have to do is walk out to the dock, get on the boat, and have a great time, right? You can drive them back off, drop them back off the dock. They can walk home while you, the captain, does the dirty work of washing out the boat. It's meant to make things easier for your guests and your family. Now, if you look out these windows here, you can see the model home. That white home in the background is the model property. That's one of the handful of homes. I think there's 4 total that are move-in ready. Then you've got those 2 right there, that blue one and that other little gray one over there. When I mean little, they're over 2,600 square feet. I think that blue one is closer to 3,000. So some of these homes are huge and other homes are a little bit smaller. Now, what I noticed when I walked in here right away was the trim package is nice. And this entryway is actually really wide. It might not look that way on camera, but it is. It feels like a wide entryway. And I also like when you walk into a house, you don't look directly into stairs. Stairs are completely hidden, so you don't see that, which is a nice feature. You do have a little powder room over here off the side, which is nice. So let's look at a couple of the qualities surrounding the house here, and I'll see if I can pull up what I was looking at before. Okay, here we go. So paint color, wall color, all Sherwin-Williams paint throughout this whole house. It's Sherwin-Williams First Star. The interior doors are all a traditional extra white. And that porch ceiling out there is Sherwin-Williams Lullaby. And you can see the yard. You're on a corner lot here. You do have a nice little, screen-in porch out back. Like I said, you're not getting an acre over here, but you do have a little bit more space than what you typically would in another community. And they're leaving a lot of the trees out there. A lot of these new communities are just chopping down the trees and clear cutting everything. That's not happening over here. You have a really good size garage. And it's also important to note that in Charleston here, if you're moving here, we don't have basements. It is, first off, we're called the Low Country for a reason, right? We are feet above sea level. So a lot of the homes, it's so sandy, you cannot build down a basement. So having storage like this here or a large garage is going to play a massive role into the type of property that you buy. If you have a ton of things and you're not going to get rid of them, I would advise you look at an elevated property, because underneath is where you can keep all of your stuff. But if you don't have a lot of things, just keep in mind that a lot of people typically have their items in a garage, and they might park their car, in the driveway there. That fireplace is a Kenwood fireplace, and the surround is actually a Bianco white marble surround, and you could put a huge TV on that wall. So, if you want to watch the big game or have a spot to entertain, this room could definitely be it. Now, not all homes are going to have this layout, right? This is one of the layouts. Some properties, have primary downstairs, whatever. This primary is actually up there in that corner. We'll walk up there right now. So, some people that maybe are coming over here and they're a little older, they don't want to walk upstairs every day, completely get it. My parents are kind of at that point too, where they don't really want to do that. Then this house or this floor plan might not be for you, but some of the other homes, they definitely could fit that bill here. So here is the primary bedroom. I love the fact that you've got the tray ceilings in the primary. Let's see, we've got the same Sherwin-Williams paints here. We're going to step into the bathroom here. Now the cabinets, everything in the bathroom are going to be very, they're all the same. They're the Sonoma linen cabinets, but they have a nice primary bathroom here. And I love the shower walls. I'll kind of explain what tile that is there in a minute. But you've got the two vanities here. That is a huge linen closet too, and I'll show you in there. But you can see the lighting is just recessed lighting. Now what's nice is that there are two lights above each vanity, and if you need both lights on, you can put them both on. If you only need one, soft light in the morning, you can do that too. So it's a nice little touch there. The tile here is Union Platinum White, or that's in the shower floor, I should say. Sorry. The shower floor is Union Platinum White tile. The shower walls are Multitude Wave Origami White tile, and they are definitely very, very pretty. Kohler modern brass faucets and fixtures again. And then in the water closet, you have the Kohler Archer White Comfort Height toilet. So that is the primary bathroom. So this community, again, let's go through this. There's 21 homes in the community. That's it. Now there's a few that are being privately built on the water by builders. They are coming to market. One of them, I think, is already sold, but they are developing those properties too. So if you want information about having a waterfront home in this community, text me. That's probably the easiest way. Just text me on that number there. So that's the only way you can get there. Toll Brothers is not building anything on the water. But you do have that deep water access to the Stono. There's going to be a fire pit, a pavilion, and an outdoor kitchen as well. So, they're sort of developing this community is not a massive 200 home new construction community. This is a sort of, smaller exclusive, outdoor-oriented community for individuals that are, either upsizing locally or relocating, to the Charleston area here. Good sized laundry room, and it is upstairs, obviously, because every bedroom is upstairs. Some of these builders, they have the primary downstairs, but then the laundry is upstairs. It's like, what's the point? What are we doing here? But with all the bedrooms upstairs, they give you a big laundry room. And these bedrooms here are actually fairly large. And I think all but one, I think they all have walk-in closets too. Every one of these bedrooms have walk-in closets. And one of them at the end, I'll show you, has, its own ensuite, has its own bathroom there. So the carpet is all golden sands pearl carpet, and the hardwood in the main flooring is all engineered hardwood. It's Perspectives Melody is the name there. And you can see those other homes out there. Again, those are the homes that are being developed. So let's talk a little bit further about that really quick. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you've got these homes that are move-in ready. And then Toll Brothers is building about 18 other homes, and they're basically building them out to what I thought was drywall phase. They're not even doing that. They're basically putting it up to, it's going to be easier for me to show you, but the drywall isn't even up. It's just framed. That's it. So you can go into the house and pick the color floor, the type of floor, the tile, arrange the kitchen. If you want a larger island, well, you can do that. If you want this, pantry to look like this, you can do that. If you want the custom shelving in here, you can do that. Anything you want, you can do. Now, you can't knock down walls and rearrange the floor plan because it's already been engineered for that lot specifically. But imagine purchasing a house with a layout that you like, and it's just framed. You have control over everything else beyond that point, which I think is pretty incredible for Toll Brothers to do. Not a lot of homes are offering that at all. So yes, I'll show you what this looks like. You might as well. We're in this last bedroom before we finish this up in this house. You can see what the house looks like here. You actually have the ability to go in and change this however you'd like. I appreciate you watching this video. If you have any questions about this home or the other homes, give me a text and I'll speak to you guys. And I appreciate your time, and stick around for more videos.